Moving into Sharon, I was apprehensive. I just could never see it to be a home, a forever home for me and my family, because it just had this big scary look to it. It's not your typical house or everyday house. It's a very large stone building surrounded by woodland. And when my parents bought the house, it was in complete ruins. The whole place was falling apart. So I could never see it to be a home.
Emma doesn't know this at the time, but she's not the only person who is scared of Sharon Rectory. In town, there's a bit of lore surrounding the house. A lot of people say that it's haunted.
My parents, they were hearing stories, but they were both skeptical. I suppose the way they seen it was that they wouldn't believe it until they seen it for themselves. It was the bank holiday, August, when we moved in. My new bedroom is upstairs and it's right next to my parents' room. And in the opposite end of the room, there is a door that leads to the back staircase. This back staircase, it just, even with the lights on in it, it still looks dark. It just creeped me out. I start to hear strange noises come from these back staircase. I can hear footsteps coming up the stairs, and it seems to creep up the stairs halfway and stop, and then it might just continue then, and then it'll stop again. I'm thinking in my head, is this really only in my head, or am I actually hearing something for real? One night, I could hear the footsteps. I'm watching the door, and I could see a blue mist form in the middle of the room. It wasn't a heavy kind of a fog. It was light. It was transparent. I'm seeing what looks to be like a lady form. The top of her form burst, so I could see her head and her hair. Her dress started to form. It's a long dress, and it's not of this era. I don't see a face. There's just blank. It's just nothing. It's just emptiness. I just couldn't watch her anymore. I was under the covers, and I'm trying not to breathe because I feel like if I breathe, she'll hear me, and I don't know what she's going to do. I don't know what her intentions are. I'm starting to sweat. Eventually I come up for air, and I don't see her in the room anymore. This continues to happen night after night, and it's terrifying.
Emma's parents are just in the next room, but she never screams or runs to them.
I didn't know whether or not to tell my parents, because I didn't know that if they would believe me or not, or if they would be thinking that I'm making this up because I want to go back to our old house. It was about a couple of weeks later. I'm lying in my bed, and I could hear the footsteps coming up the back staircase. I instantly pull the covers over my head. I'm lying there hoping that this would be another night where she'll just pass through the room and I try and fall asleep. I could feel like an almost weight sat beside me, and I could feel her presence right close to me. I pull the covers back, and I can see her sitting at the bottom of my bed. She was facing me, and I could see her look at me with a featureless face, just her head just turned to me. I was under the covers again. I could still feel her beside me, and I could hear a very, very faint light kind of humming. It was just enough to make out. And I feel that she's trying to comfort me, but I don't feel any comfort. I'm so scared. It lasts for a few seconds, and then it's silence. And all I can hear is my breath.
At this point, Emma decides that she has to talk to her mom.
I'm afraid that she's not going to believe me. I tell her, and she kind of pauses for a second, and she tells me that she has seen her too, and so has my dad. They would see her standing at the bottom of the bed, and then my mum would often see her too beside my dad, and my dad mightn't have been able to see her the time my mum was able to see her. It was one, I think, night he put his arm out the side of the bed, and he says, "Where is she at?" And mum says that she's seen his hand go straight through her. My mum's telling me that it's okay, that it's not going to hurt you, that it's just something that's in the house that we just can't explain right now.
Emma's mom, Lisa, starts researching the house, and she discovers something tragic. About 200 years earlier, a group of men came to assassinate a minister who was staying at Sharon Rectory. The men surrounded the house and shot at the windows. A stray bullet hit the lady of the house, Sarah Waller, in her shoulder. She died later that night.
Whenever my mum found out about her passing in the house, from then on we just started to call her Mrs. Waller. I think it's respectful just to call her by her name rather than the Blue Lady. Over time, she's kind of making her presence known more. We could hear the piano up in the living room start to play itself. It sounds like playing ballroom music. The doors would bang. There's furniture being moved. There was a trunk at the bottom of my parents' bed, and it had like a lock at the bottom of it. Maybe 6:30 in the morning. It would have banged and banged until I got up. I suppose in her time that maybe that's the time that people woke up, and she was expecting it from us too. My mum would have always bought like second-hand furniture from car boot sales or from charity shops, and she picked up 3 pictures of, it was like Greek mythology. This one particular picture I didn't like because it was like these ladies was sacrificing another lady to a tiger. I says to Dad, I didn't want that one up on the wall, and he was like, "We're just gonna have to put them up," he says, "because we're not going to be able to listen to your mum if we don't get them up." We were sitting down in the kitchen that evening having dinner, and there was an almighty bang through the house. My dad ran up to the hall because he thought that somebody came through the door. It was so loud, and there the picture was that I didn't like. It was sitting in the middle of the hall. My dad puts it back up on the wall again, and we go back and we finish eating our dinner. That night, I'm lying in bed, and my mum and dad go to bed, and just a few hours in, we could hear this bang again. I could hear my dad getting up in the room next door, and I could hear him walking down the front staircase. And a few minutes later, he comes back and he gets into bed. So the next morning, I'm saying to my mum, "I heard a bang last night, Mum. What was that happened?" And she tells me that the picture that fell the day before fell again through the night. It continues to happen. My parents eventually take the picture off the wall because it falls in the most unusual way. It falls not straight down on the wall, it falls to the middle of the floor, and the nail still remains in the wall. It's like it's been thrown.
Emma's parents ask their local priest to come over and bless each room of the house, but it doesn't really seem to do anything.
this was going to take a lot more than just a priest coming in saying a few prayers and throwing holy water around each room. One of my mum's friends knew a lady called Kate Houston. Kate Houston is a psychic medium, and she says that she would get in touch with Kate Houston to maybe come in and talk to my parents about, their experiences.
As soon as Kate walks in the front door, she says she can feel a presence. Per her request, Emma's parents haven't told her anything about the history of the house.
She did say that there was a lady that was there that was with us at the time, and she was picking up the name Sarah. So that's what made us think, okay, she knows what she's talking about. She seems genuine.
At the end of her visit, Kate tells the family that she thinks they need to do a seance.
So the night has come. They've prepared the kitchen all in candles. There's a lot of hustle bustle going around of just preparation. My grandmother and my mum's brother, my uncle Raymond, are joining us on the night. I'm still trying to understand what's going on, of why they need to do this. I can't help but think, is this going to work? As they're sitting around the table, Kate's calling forth any spirits that's around the house if they want to make themselves known. And as they're sitting in quietness, my grandmother says, I can hear what sounds like a gunshot. Suddenly, Kate seems to be in pain. She's gripping her shoulder. My mum is overcome with emotion. She bursts into tears. Kate, even though she was in pain, she was still telling them to continue on, to try and focus. Kate tells my dad, you need to pray and you need to keep praying. Don't stop. No matter what else happens, you have to keep praying. He's praying. My mum and Kate and my grandmother and my uncle are still conducting the seance. I can see the door opening on one end of the kitchen and closing again. And then it's like a gush of wind goes through the room and the other door opens and closes again really, really slowly. Mrs. Waller comes in. She floats in. There's more detail than ever before. Her hair is in ringlets. The details in her dress are exquisite. There are little bows on the dress and fine stitching. She finally has a face. She's a really young complexion. She's beautiful. And she stands in the middle of the table. We could see her form in a blue teardrop shape. And all of a sudden she was gone. They finished up after the seance and they talk about what exactly had happened. The gunshot going off, to Kate feeling the pain, to Mum feeling the emotion. It was like that was her final moments that Mrs. Waller was trying to get across. After that night of the seance, I didn't hear the footsteps. I didn't see the lady come through the room at night. I thought, I wonder, was this finished? Was it gone?
Time goes by, and the family believes the seance has worked. Emma's parents continue to renovate Sharon Rectory. When they finish working on the main house, they start fixing up the coachman's residence and a little cottage house on the property. As Emma gets older and becomes a teenager, she starts spending more and more time on her own. I would feel a real kind of negative feeling in the house.
There was weird smells that would have just came out of nowhere. It's like rotten eggs, sulfur smell, that's what it smells like. I felt that maybe Mrs. Waller was more of a protector and that she kept whatever that I was feeling at bay. And because she was no longer stuck here, it seemed to kind of become more active. One evening I get on my bike and I'm cycling down the back lane. And there's a man that's walking up the lane. He's wearing a long black coat and a hat. And I stop my bike and I'm watching him come closer to me. His face is like, it's that pale, it's almost a greyish colour. He doesn't have a smile on his face, he doesn't look to be like a happy man. I shout over and I ask him, "Are you looking for my mum and dad?" But he doesn't reply. He turns really slowly and walks back down the lane again. And he vanishes. It was crazy. It's just, in a split second, he's gone.
By the time Emma is getting ready to start college, she wants her own space. Her parents have finished fixing up the coachman's residence, and Emma moves in.
The coachman's residence is just a flat that's on the other side of the house. My first night in the coachman's, I just tossed and turned. I couldn't settle. The whole night I stay awake. The next night I'm lying in bed and I feel like that it's just too dark. So I get up and I turned on the bathroom light, and the bathroom light shines through the bedroom. So I feel a bit more comfortable. Drifting off to sleep, and I hear a bang in the room. A bang that's very loud, it makes me jump. I get up and I look around and I can't see anything that's out of place. I'm freaked out, but I think this is where I'm going to be staying for the future, so I need to stick it out. So I continue to keep the light on at night. I feel like that I need to see each corner of the room, just in case there is something. I would rather see it. The next night, I'm lying there and drifting off to sleep, and it's like something just wakes me up. All of a sudden, I just wake, and I can see this tall, dark shadow at the bottom of my bed, standing, just looking at me. I couldn't move for fear. I just was froze to the bed. I didn't know what to do. The shadow disappears. I roll over in the bed and just praying to God that I can get some sleep. But I'm so scared. It was the worst fear. It wasn't like when I seen the blue lady. This was scarier. It was darker. I felt like this intended harm. This intended to be scary. It wanted to scare me. This oppressive feeling just seems to come over me. Whenever I left the house, I felt completely fine. Whenever I was in the house, I felt really tired, drained, just physically. It's like everything is just pulled from my body. One morning, I'm getting dressed and I notice marks on my legs. I just kind of brush it off as maybe I scratched myself when I was sleeping. But it seemed to be the case where every morning I'm waking up, I am covered in marks, scratches on my legs and my back. I was getting ready for bed one night and I'm brushing my hair and brushing my teeth, and I look in the mirror and just directly behind me I seen a face come through the wall. It was transparent, but you could make out like the shape of eyes and a nose and a mouth. And it was there for a split second and it vanished. It went back into the wall again. I froze to the spot. I could feel my heart beating. I could really hear it in my head, the beating of my heart. I stood there looking in the mirror, scared to turn around in case it was going to be something standing there. Maybe it was this dark man that I had seen before. So when I turned, I didn't see anything.
Emma runs and gets into bed, and she pulls the covers over her head, just like she used to when she was a kid. But she can't fall asleep.
I feel that there's eyes that's within the walls that's watching me. I feel really paranoid. It's starting to really get to me.
Emma looks forward to the weekends when she can take a break from her college classes and spend time away from Sharon Rectory.
So one night I go out and I meet a guy called Gabriel. We had an instant connection. We continued to see each other. That was love. He spends most nights with me, which is comforting because I feel that whenever I'm with him that I'm safe. I think it was the comfort of knowing somebody else was there and that I wasn't going to be on my own whenever I seen something. We're dating probably about a year and I found out I'm pregnant.
Emma and Gabriel have a son, Noah. After he's born, they decide it's time for them to get their own place. They move into a little house about 10 minutes away from Sharon Rectory.
So as we move into the new house, I start to feel a lot better. My mind feels clearer. I have more energy. And I feel like there's some sort of normality coming into my life.
Then one evening, Emma gets a phone call from her mom.
She tells me that the house is on fire. So I drop the phone and get into the car and I drive straight down the road to the house. Just as I'm pulling up to the front of the house, I see these large flames coming up just out of the roof of the main part of the house. The fire brigade are just approaching at this stage. My mum is in complete tears. She's just seeing her whole life, everything just going up in flames in this house. She is so upset. My dad, he can't sit back and watch. He actually pulls the hoses off the firemen and runs into the front door of the house and tries to put out as much as he can himself. And he has no safety equipment, no nothing. And the firemen eventually pull him back out again. The paramedics are saying to him that he needs to go to hospital. So myself and my mum are left with the firemen trying to get this fire under control. The firefighters realise that they don't have enough water to put out the whole fire because they didn't realise how big the fire was in the house.
There's a well behind the house, and the firefighters start scrambling to hook up their hoses.
And the generator doesn't work. At this stage, you can really see the flames starting inside the house. It was really upsetting because my whole childhood, all my memories, I felt like it was just being ripped away. Finally, the firemen get the pump working. Smoke is starting to go down, fire starting to go down. Thankfully, it's only kind of stayed in one part of the house. The fire chief approaches myself and my mum and asks were we in the main building at any time during the fire. And we both looked at each other and we said, no, I wasn't in the house. And mum says she wasn't in the house. And the fireman, he kind of was a wee bit shocked. He said that he had seen a woman standing between the reception hallway and the main staircase. A couple of the men were shouting into the house, to get out and to get away from the fire, but she still stands there. It's like she doesn't hear them. A couple of them were going to try and attempt to go in to try and get this lady out, but it was like she just vanished. She was gone. And when we look at each other, we say, I wonder, was that her? And he instantly just turns and says, I don't want to know. He says, I'm just freaked. This is completely the strangest thing that's ever happened. I think that Mrs. Waller seen what was happening to her home. Maybe she was trying to stop it from going any further. After that night of the seance, I think that Mrs. Waller was at peace, but she never really left.
Since the fire, Emma's parents have been working to repair the house. Emma and Gabriel have had another son, Jonah, and eventually they move back to the coachman's residence at Sharon Rectory.
One big question that everybody asks is, why would you stay in the house? And I say that it's because it's our home. I love this house. My kids love this house. I want to reside here happy with my family. My 2 kids, we've never told them the house is haunted. I'm trying to kind of protect them from it for as long as I can.
But Emma's not sure how much longer she'll be able to.
One evening, we're driving down the back lane, and suddenly Noah starts shouting, and he says, "Mum, you drove over a man." And I says, "Noah, I didn't see a man." And he says he was standing in the middle of the laneway. And I says, "Well, what did the man look like?" He said he's got a black coat and a black hat.